Welcome back to Established Gallery. Today we're going to talk to Tracy Penn. Tracy keeps a studio in Park Slope, Brooklyn. Tracy has 4 works of art in the Established Gallery's exhibition, So Says This Tranquil Space. All right, we're in Park Slope where Tracy keeps a studio. Hey Tracy. It's like it's such a beautiful day.
You can go in the back.
See what mom's working on.
All right. That's sort of my teachers as I wander up stairs.
What was your teacher's name for this one?
This is Dietland van der Schaaf. She's younger than me, but pretty much all my teachers have been since I'm, old, coming into the game. So, and this was just to see, but this was the first Encaustic piece. This is not my work, but this is what sort of got me excited about Encaustic to start with.
The seeds of your future.
Yes, exactly. Everything.
Welcome everybody to Tracy Penn's studio.
I spent about 20 odd years on the periphery of my own artistic practice, let's say. I worked at the Guggenheim in the education department, I worked at MoMA in the marketing department, but never really even imagining doing my own work. It was always, you're going to college because you're going to learn something and get a job and make some money. So I always had my fingers in, but sort of never believed this was something I could do. And then when I turned 50, I was like, screw it, I'm gonna do this thing that I was never brave enough to do. And then I think I actually had one very early piece where I was just really learning, as you can see, things like plastic don't stick to beeswax.
Right.
Just right from the beginning, I was playing with texture and using found material. And although my work has progressed and changed, the things that were important to me, and I've just kind of built on them. I was in my first Kiwanis Open Studios in 2017.
What was it like, the first open studios?
It was terrifying. Definitely imposter syndrome, like, do I belong here? The first piece I sold at Open Studios, like, I could have sold that painting 5 times over. And when I came home after Open Studios, I thought, what was it about that? And, I tried recreating it, and I just realized right from the beginning, like, that wasn't going to work for me. Like, I had to make what I wanted. I couldn't be, like, creating something because it was saleable, or just trust myself, and hopefully, the world likes what I make.
What are you working on today?
Just finished this series that I've always worked with repurposed materials. That's always been really important to me, but I sort of over COVID just really wanted to think a lot more about, like, why? Other than just, here I am, you can use something upcycled. It doesn't have to go into the trash. You can try using it again. Like, was there more to it? Like, what is the message I'm trying to say? And how do I say that message without people, like, glazing over, like, I don't want to hear that nonsense. I'm starting to feel more comfortable with the idea of being an environmental artist. This sort of whole environmental underpinning is something that's very dear and key to who I am. This is a photograph created by a professor at a university in England. This is a representation of the temperature of the planet from 1860 till today. People could visually see this and say, bad things are happening. Basically, I wanted to take that idea and create a piece to communicate the same idea of climate change and global warming, but wanted to layer it with some more impact of things that I think are important. So these were all created with upcycled materials. So by using single-use plastic, I can communicate the real big issues. And the second part of it is I toyed around a lot with the idea of filling the lines, because it's sort of in my natural practice. When I do other paintings, I often use oil stick, take this kind of thing, and smush it around and then rub it into the grid lines. I decided that I could enhance the grid in sort of an unequal way to bring attention to this climate justice concern. So encaustic painting is like a very old technique. The Egyptians, the Greeks used it. They used paint and wax to protect the hulls of their ships. So it's really quite ancient. Using melted beeswax and resin and painting with that, and then in a liquid form, and then using fire or heat to harden it. So this is a combination of wax and resin, and you can see it's hard. It's not like melted wax, or it's just not squishy. It's like a hard candle. When you do a painting, you start with maybe 4 or 5 layers of just this encaustic medium, and then layer colors and pigments. So this is a hot plate, 150 to 180 degrees, so it doesn't become toxic. Paint on something that will hold the encaustic and also won't catch on fire. Like a block of color that they sell. And inside that is also wax and resin inside with the pigment. And you always paint on a warm surface. So this is a butane torch. Heat the surface that you're painting on. So it's like warm to the touch. This is called fusing. If you overfuse, you can sort of move the paint around. And some people do that as a technique. Started like that in a bar. I melted it. I added a little bit of extra medium inside. And then you can just paint with it. Every layer of paint you fuse, so then it sets it. So if you don't fuse it, it won't be hard, so you don't want to be painting another layer on top of something that is soft, because then it won't be stable. So what I've been playing around with is this sort of thing. I would paint on top of it. Like, then you pull that away, right? And then for me, you start to get these thick areas, which I really love, and then you get the paint coming through. And then so I will do this sort of thing, and I will keep building up and building up. Four pieces in the show I've established, but they all incorporate an iridescent paint. The main piece in the show is called Nights. There's this iridescent silver, and the colors coming through are sort of the dark blues of night, and I feel like they all stand on their own, but they all work together because they're similar grays and silver and blues, and the palette is quite similar.
Thank you so much for showing us your studio and your process.
Just appreciate you all supporting me and my work, so thank you.